Hey everybody, Ollie here, and I'm back on this SR-7. Slowly taking my time and working on it. It's been sitting around for a long time. I didn't do anything, but yesterday I managed to spray some polyester primer, so that's a high build, easy sand primer. So I've sprayed the top or one surface of all the parts. So if I flip this over, see the bottom is still not primed. So we'll take it one side at a time, and although it may not look like it, there's a lot of primer on this. And there's some little dry spots that I'm going to use some putty to fill. See right here. And there's some spots here on the trailing edge that I'm going to actually use some like Bondo, real thin skim coats. And I'm going to do a little bit of work here too with some Bondo. And I'm going to put it on as thin as I possibly can, and then I'm going to block sand this whole thing with 200 grit sandpaper. And basically as soon as I start seeing the glass again, the raw glass, I'm going to stop. And then once the whole wing is sanded, it'll be ready for another coat of primer, and again I have to flip this over and spray the other side too. But right now we'll just get going with the filling of some of these spots. Alright, I got some body filler. This is lightweight Bondo, this stuff, and then some glazing putty. This is the red stuff, and it looks like a bit of a mess, but this stuff's spread on pretty thin, and I would say 90 to 95% of this is all going to get sanded off. So I'm going to let this cure up for maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes or an hour or something. I'll just put it aside, and then I'm going to start sanding with 200 grit sandpaper. Alright, I've sanded half the wing with 220 and took a ton of the primer off, almost all of it. You can see the glass weave coming through. It's really actually nice and smooth. Here's what the leading edge looked like. Not much that filler left on there. In some spots there's no filler. So it's looking really good. I did some work around here. This is smooth too. And then the other side again looks like this. I haven't done that yet. So it's coming out really nice. I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish up this half of the wing. Well, I've completely sanded the top surface of the wing, and I must say it's looking really good. Pretty smooth. Again, I have to prime the bottom. And I've started putting some filler on the tail parts. So I'm just going to continue with this and get these sanded to the same condition as the wing. And then after I do all that, I can flip these over and prime the other side. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my 3D printer is going on in the background, so just have to bear with that. Now, I think the key to any kind of priming and filling and sanding is you don't want to over sand, right? So there's a little area right here where I've already kind of got to the glass, and I don't want to sand that anymore. If I get to that stage, I'm gonna stop. Okay, so if you're, let's just take this general area here. I'll sand this for a while. And what I'm looking for is basically, you know, when I can start seeing the glass like right in here, it's basically time to stop sanding there. If you need to do more work, you're going to have to apply more material, be it filler or primer. So you don't want to over sand, really. That's what I'm trying to get at. I can just start seeing glass coming through here. So basically done with that area. Obviously I'll overlap when I sand other areas. But I think you guys get the general gist of how I do this. A flat sanding block really helps. Bigger is better on the sanding block. I'm really good with sanding. I spent a lot of my life doing this kind of work. So I'm okay with this, but I would recommend that you use a bigger block, especially if you're doing long areas like the leading edge. It's just going to give you smoother parts. But anyway, you get the gist of how this goes. So once I have sanded this whole side, as you can see, as I did on this side, what I do after is there's still some little pinholes and things, and I apply a coat of this. It's like a red. It's a single part. It's not a catalyzed. It's like they call it glazing putty, and I just skim with that and let that dry overnight, and then I'll go back and it sands real easy. I just lightly knock that down, and it gets a lot of the sanding marks and some of the little pinholes and things. And that's basically how I finish it up. So I'm going to do that to this wing. I've already done the I'll just show you. I've already done the top side of the wing. So you can see there's not really much filler remaining when it's done. Okay, so this is basically all I have to do. The tail parts are all finished. The flying surfaces, the ailerons and the elevators, they're basically done too. So I need to finish up this side, the bottom of the wing, and then what I'm going to do is put another coat of primer on. And I'm hoping that'll be the last coat of primer I'll need. So depending on how that looks, I'm hoping after that primer goes on, I can just go with like a 300 and then a 400 grit sandpaper, and then I can get to paint, because I really want to start putting paint on this thing, because once the paint starts going down, we're going to be really close to being done. And I know Justin wants to get his airplane at some point. It's been a long process, but you can't rush these things, you know? I mean, that's just not the way you gotta work with something like this. It's gotta be more of a labor of love, and you know, when you're in the mood to work on it, you work on it. That's just the way it goes, at least for me anyway. I don't know how you guys are with these things. This isn't like assembling a composite model, you know. There's a lot more work that goes into this, and a lot more, I don't want to say skill, but maybe craftsmanship, right? Because you're actually building the whole thing. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to get another video up because I am working on this. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days that we'll get the last coat of primer on this, and I'll do another video when we're ready to shoot paint, or maybe after I put one coat of paint on. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's SR-7, Bob Martin SR-7 Part 8, a quick update, and hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.